Hello, my name is Jason Studlook. I'm a Roseville High School senior who is creating these videos to help spread my knowledge of Python as a maker and a college student. I also want to show future employers my abilities. Today we'll be going over the basics of Python and downloading IDLE, a Python integrated development environment, and starting to code from there. In future videos I'll teach you the basics of coding, show you how to interact with sensors, and more complex coding solutions. As a fellow student, I know what feeling lost is like. So if you'd like me to do a video on a certain topic or a question you'd like me to answer, all you gotta do is send me a message. My Twitter and GitHub is in the description, and if you don't have a GitHub, I fully recommend making one, as it is the best way to share code with teammates and building up a coding resume of sorts. So before we download IDLE, let's go into what Python is, why should we use it, and how we use it. So starting off, what is Python? Simply put, it's a coding language. However, unlike other coding languages like C or Java, Python is more user-friendly, thus making it easier to learn. Another advantage of Python is that it's well documented. So whatever you're making, there's likely some example code already out there for you. And if there isn't, there's always the Python docs that takes note of all of its updates, key features, libraries, and functions for you to use. As previously stated, we can use Python by using IDLE. Most Raspberry Pis come with an image that already has IDLE on it, and BeagleBone Black supports Python through its own IDE, Cloud9. As shown on the right, in the top we have a standard Hello World file. In the bottom we see a file being ran, along with an example of print Hello World in the shell. We will go over what these mean in just a moment. So why do people use Python? In short, it's a beginner-friendly language that lets people easily put together a simple or complex project. It is easier because it's an interpreted language, meaning the code is stored into larger amounts of data, called bytes, and then translated into machine code, while other faster codes have compilers that directly write the file into machine code, like C and Java. Python also has some key uses in the tech field. Most of the time it's used by data scientists to compile and organize data like anything you would normally put into a spreadsheet. The advantage is that Python automates the process and works faster than a person typing. Lastly, I'd like to cover Python 2 versus Python 3. Usually there isn't much to worry about. However, some module-specific libraries, like for a certain chip, may only work in Python 2, so make sure you do your research. But in general, most libraries work in both, like time. So for this next part, we're going to go into downloading Python. Python and IDLE come together in a sort of package. To simply download it, we just go to python.org. Just get rid of that. This is the main page where you can also find all the documentation as mentioned earlier. We're going to go down to downloads. And here is where we have all the different versions. You can download older versions if you want to, but for this tutorial we're going to go for the latest version, which is Python 3.7.1. We're going to click download. And here's some also notes and features you can look at, but we're not worried about those. If you're a Windows user, follow Windows user instructions, and if you're a Mac user, follow your Mac instructions. For Windows, the easiest way to do it is just getting the executable installer. So we're waiting for that to download. After it's done downloading, we're going to open it. Here it's going to be install now or customize installation. Once we get into more advanced features, we can do a custom install, but we're not going to have to worry about that. What we're really worried about is making sure it downloads pip, which is how you download other libraries, and IDLE, which is how we're going to use Python. So we're going to install now. Alright, now that the message is successful, we're going to simply close it, go to our main desktop, and we see it's not there. Simple, we go into the search bar, we will look up Python, and you'll have it right here. It'll be Python 3.7, which opens up a terminal, which we'll go into later, but what we want is IDLE. Alright, so you'll open this, which is a shell. You can type in certain commands and certain lines of code, and it'll pop up right away, but it's not the same as writing a file. Well, so we want to write a file. So we're going to File to New File, and here's a blank empty document. So let's just do a simple one, which is print, which is Python's way of doing a serial print, if you're familiar with Arduino. Left parentheses, quotes, hello, comma, world. End quotes, end parentheses, Control S to save, and you can save it as whatever. We're just do hello world dot py. I already have it existed. After that, we're going to run it, run a module, and it'll pop up here. Hello world. Congrats, you did your first file. Later videos, we're going to do something more complex. I'm still thinking of where to go with this. So if you have any suggestions, just leave a comment below. And yeah.